Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. And once again, in our headlines today, we're following up on more stories that we've been following this entire week. So our first story today, a jury is currently hearing from witnesses before they recommend a sentence for the Evansville man who was found guilty of killing a firefighter. Now, as we've previously reported, 46-year-old Larry Richmond was found guilty late last night of murdering Robert Dorr back in 2019.
Yeah, the trial began on Monday morning, of course, with opening arguments given by the defense and prosecution. Then on Tuesday, Larry Richmond Jr., his son, took to the stand and admitted to stealing the gun from the pawn shop that was apparently used in the murder. He says his father asked him to go get a gun for him. Well, then late last night, really into the early morning hours, the jury found Richmond guilty of murder. I believe they deliberated for like 11 hours, so a very long night in the courtroom for them before handing down that verdict. Of course, we're going to let you know as soon as the recommended sentence is decided. We do know that a couple witnesses will be called up. That could take a while again. So another long day at the Vanderburgh County Courthouse for them and for our crew, so we'll keep you posted.
Now, moving on to another story that frequent viewers are going to recognize here. We do have a 14 News update. The DoorDash driver, accused of pepper spraying an order she delivered, has been booked into the Vanderburgh County Jail. 14 News was there when law enforcement dropped Courtney Stevenson off as she was taken out of the transport van in cuffs. Stevenson was arrested last week in McCracken County, Kentucky, charged with battery and consumer product tampering. Of course, this is one we're going to keep our thumb on. We know that a lot of interest, not only within the tri-state and far beyond, what is a very strange situation.
Right, yeah, made national headlines as well. So, of course, we'll keep you posted there. Sort of switching gears now, a pretty heartwarming story to tell you about out of Spencer County. We know that it's the Christmas season, the spirit of giving, and that's exactly what happened to hundreds of children in Spencer County who now have a new pair of shoes, all thanks to the Kicks for Kids program.
Now, we're told that it was made possible through a partnership between Rally Point Events and Indiana-Michigan Power. Organizers say a total of 500 kids will get brand new shoes through this program. The schools chosen include Lincoln Trail, Nancy Hanks, David Turnham, Crisney, Rockport, and Luce Elementary Schools. Officials say the program aims to help children in need so they can focus on learning and not what to wear. And especially during this time of year, you'd hope that they'd be able to focus on the fun, let alone the things that are arguably more important, their education, everything. If you can alleviate some of that stress during the holiday season, even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure all of those schools are doing some fun Christmas holiday activities as well. My sister's a teacher, and she's been wearing pajamas and ugly sweaters and bringing home crafts every day. So I'm sure those kiddos are having a great week, and then that gift there just tops it off. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I grew up with my mom is a 5th grade teacher, so I did a lot of leftover coloring pages when she would come home. Yeah. So that's kind of a tradition on its own from having an educator in the house.
You know what I'm talking coloring about. In the newsroom.
Oh, man, you are going to love your Christmas present.
Perfect.
All right. Well, of course, we are not done here right now, but that is going to finish our news portion here. Of course, we're covering a whole lot more, so be sure to check back in with us tonight. 14 News at 4, 5, and 6, and, of course, later tonight at 10.
All right. Do not go anywhere. Meteorologist Michael Fecca will be right back with your forecast.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 2:30 afternoon weather update. We've now moved on to the weather portion of the stream here, and we're tracking out more wind and rain through the rest of this afternoon and into this evening. It should clear out of here by around 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Now, behind all of this rain, we are looking at a brief cool down as we head into Friday, and then we'll start to warm back up starting this weekend and headed into the first, or not the first week, but into the week of Christmas, and temperatures are expected to be be well above average by the time we get into Christmas Day, and have a little sneak peek at some of those temperatures for you. But let's take a look at the Doppler radar and take a look at our setup. We've got this area of low pressure sitting and spinning over the Great Plains, moving into the Great Lakes region now, and that is bringing this cold front in from the west. Now, out ahead of that front, we've had some moisture move up from the south, and that has been moving in the form of a few light showers, some moderate showers across the tri-state. Now, some of the heavier rains are still back off to our west with this main line. This is where the actual front is kind of lining up here, and this will be moving through the tri-state over the next couple of hours. And as of right now, it looks like it is just some heavy rain and some gusty winds. We do have that chance for at least a few claps of thunder as that line moves overhead, but that risk for thunderstorms and severe weather is still relatively low. I'll show you what the SPC outlook shows for the rest of this afternoon. But timing out this line continues to push off to our east there. Here we are around 6:30, 7 o'clock. That line continues to push off, and then we dry out completely by around 8. But we still have a few lingering showers here as we head into the overnight hours. And with that cooler air moving in on the backside of the system, we could even see the chance for a few flurries there overnight into very early Friday morning. And then the clouds will hang around through the first part of the day on Friday, but then clear out through the afternoon. Now, in terms of our severe weather risk, it remains very low. Yesterday, they had brought us out of that marginal risk, and then today they put us back in. So it's a very touch and go kind of setup here, but most of us are just going to see your ordinary rain, perhaps maybe a few claps of thunder and some very gusty winds. But as that line moves through, there could be an isolated strong to severe wind gust along with that. Now, it's already pretty windy out there, so it's not like this is a huge difference from what we're going to be getting as those showers move in, but we're already seeing gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour across the tri-state. We've also been put in that wind advisory. At least the northwestern corner of the tri-state has our southern Illinois counties and some of our southern Indiana counties there, Pike, Gibson, Vanderburgh, and Posey County. We have this wind advisory until midnight tonight, and gusts could cause, some falling tree limbs. Of course, if you have your Christmas decorations out there and they're not tethered down, or if you have blow-ups and they're blown up, you definitely want to keep them laid down flat and weigh them down. Your trash cans, make sure that they're kind of around the corner of the house that isn't taking the brunt of the wind, because those could be flying around. And you may experience some difficulty driving, especially if you do have a higher profile vehicle, especially our truck drivers there traveling west to east or east to west. That's where you're going to kind of deal with that potential of some of those wind gusts kind of altering your direction there. So you'll battle some of those wind gusts here through the rest of this afternoon, but as that front passes overhead and just behind it, you start to see a dip in those wind speeds before some more gradient winds pick up overnight into early tomorrow morning out of the northwest. But in general, the winds will be lightening up here through tomorrow. But here's a look at our current conditions. Most of us are seeing clouds and a few showers. It's raining there in Fairfield, Henderson, and here in Evansville. Owensboro sitting at around 58 degrees with cloudy skies, 56 here in Evansville, so it's relatively warm. Our average highs this time of year should be topping out in the mid-40s. We'll actually continue to crash down below freezing overnight tonight. Temps drop down into the upper 20s, and we'll stay cool through tomorrow. So we'll only top out in the mid to upper 30s through tomorrow afternoon, with clouds in the morning, mostly sunny skies through the afternoon and evening hours. Now, we do dry out here through the weekend, but we do see some chances for rain return for the start of next week, and that possibly lingers into Christmas Eve, and we may have some cloud cover as of right now for Christmas Day, but it doesn't look like there's anything major moving through during that time frame. But of course, that is subject to change. But looking at our European model here, starting it out Saturday, we've got this dry front that'll pass overhead Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night. There's not a lot of moisture with it. That may increase our cloud cover a little bit, but not really expecting any rain. And then we have high pressure building in from the north on Sunday, and that'll kind of clear us out of the clouds a little bit. We'll see more sunshine on Sunday, and we'll stay dry. But as that high pressure slips off to the east for the start of the work week, you'll notice winds return up out of the south. So that'll help warm us back up, and it'll also bring in the chance for a few of those spotty showers there Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then perhaps a few more spotty showers possible for Christmas Eve. But it does look like we're kind of in between two systems there Christmas Day. So it may not be a beautiful, bright, sunny day, but it does look dry as of right now. But obviously that is likely going to change here over the next couple of days. But one thing we do know for sure is that it is going to be warm out there. Looking at your temperature trends over the next 7 days, we'll be below average through tomorrow, and then we'll kind of be teetering that line of around average to well above average once we get into next week. Temperatures topping out possibly in the low to mid 60s Christmas Eve and into Christmas Day. And looking even beyond Christmas and into the very first day of January, New Year, we're expected to remain above average with our temperatures across a good portion of the United States. But here's a look at those future temps possible by Thursday afternoon, Christmas afternoon, topping out possibly in the mid to upper 60s. There's even the chance for a few 70s well off to our west there in areas of Missouri and even into northern Arkansas. So a very, very balmy Christmas. And comparing that to previous warmest Christmases, if we do see that temperature of 66, 67 verify on Thursday, that would put us in the top 5 warmest Christmases of all time. Now, the warmest Christmas we've ever had was back in 2021 when our high topped out at around 72 degrees. We're at a forecast of around 66 for Thursday. So that would put us right at 5th place, or 3rd place there, because 2019 and 1982 are tied for 2nd. But overall, very warm. I know a lot of folks were probably excited for maybe a white Christmas. This time around, it doesn't look very likely. But looking at the next 7 days here, kind of wrapping up the forecast here in a little bit of a bow for you. Let me go ahead and take this full screen. We'll stay dry after we get out of today's rainfall. So again, we're looking at that cold front moving in from the west this afternoon. More showers, gusty winds, perhaps even a few thunderstorms possible over the next couple of hours. But then overnight, we'll be drying out and cooling down. Temperatures only top out in the mid to upper 30s for Friday, and then we'll warm back up into the 50s Saturday, slightly cooler again Sunday, topping out in the 40s, and then we'll be on a steady incline with those temps through the rest of the work week leading into Christmas, topping out possibly in the 60s. So that is all I've got here for the forecast. I'm going to hop off the live stream and send you guys over to 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe and have a great rest of your afternoon.